Thank you. And I thank all of you for your work and for being here today. I have serious concerns that the issue we are focusing on today, whether women should have access to contraceptives in their insurance coverage, is only a very small part of a broader campaign to attack the use of contraceptives generally for women across this country. For example, right now in 14 states, in this country, in this year, activists have been pushing initiatives to amend state constitutions to define an embryo as a person from the second of fertilization. Voters have already rejected fertilization personhood laws 3 times, twice in Colorado and once in Mississippi. The effect of these initiatives would be to criminalize certain birth control methods. So my question to the panelists is a general question, is whether you agree that we should outlaw any form of contraception starting at the moment of fertilization. And if I could get a brief answer from Bishop Laurie and then Reverend Harrison and all down the line.
The pointed issue here is whether or not a church that teaches the sacredness of life from the beginning or opposes contraception or sterilization on moral grounds should be forced to pay for it, not whether or not it should be illegal.
But do you consider birth control pills to fall in that category? In other words, would you favor making the use of birth control pills illegal in this country? Reverend Harrison?
No, I would not, but neither do we include those abortion-producing medications as birth control.
When you say abortion-inducing medications, what are you referring to?
I'm referring to those medications that can cause a fertilized egg or an embryo to be aborted.
Is that so-called Plan B?
Yes, Ella and Plan B.
Well, what about IUDs, Dr. Mitchell? Do you believe that they should be illegal?
We believe that they are contrary to our view of the sanctity of human life because they allow fertilization, but they prevent implantation. And we believe that human life begins at conception, not at implantation.
Well, what I understand from the administration's proposal, and from what I understand from the public comment in opposition to his proposal, was that you do not want to pay for these services. And under his proposal, you would not pay for these services. They would be absolutely separate in an insurance plan. Now it seems that you're saying that no women should have access to them and that they should be criminal. And what are your comments on that? I mean, I support religious freedom. I support every type of religion in America. But I do not support imposing my religious beliefs or anybody else's on anybody else.
In fact, the cost of providing those services are borne someplace, either in the premiums that religious entities pay, or they are borne because our plans are self-insured, and therefore we are the insurer as well as the employer, or because we have religious insurers. In other words, these so-called accommodations were made without reference to the real world that the church operates in, and as a result, they still entail us in cooperating with this and in paying for it.
But I would say with all respect that in a pluralistic society where we all have different beliefs, I for one am opposed to the war in Afghanistan. but my tax dollars are supporting the war in Afghanistan.
Congressman.
May I continue, please, sir? I support, I'm opposed to, many Americans are opposed to capital punishment, yet their dollars are supporting capital punishment. So in many ways, when we live in America and it's a total society, then we're all part of it. And I believe that the President bent over backwards, or rather the administration, to make this separate. And I would just like to conclude by saying that although I respect your right to have your own opinions about birth control, I really do believe and think that the majority of Americans do not share them, and they should be entitled to have their beliefs too. I yield back.
Thank you. With that, I yield to Mr. Jordan.
I thank the